Hello students, today we're going to talk about how to find the x and y intercept from a graph, table, and an equation. Okay, remember we gave you Cornell notes today in class, so you want to get those out and you want to copy down or write down the notes that I am going over in the video. These will be a grade. Remember the front side is worth 1 grade and the back side is worth another grade, so it's a total of 2 grades. And also at the end of the video you're going to, on the left hand side, write questions. Take what we did in the middle and write a question over it. So a question that you might see on a test. So you're going to think like me. And then at the bottom you're going to write a 2 to 3 completed sentences about what you learned. So let's start and let's go to our notes. Cornell notes. It says, in a function, an intercept is the point at which the line crosses an axis. If it crosses the y-axis, it is called the y-intercept, and the point is 0, y. If it crosses the x-axis, it is called the x-intercept, and the point is x, 0. The x-intercepts are also known as the zeros of the function, because the x-intercepts are where the value of the function is 0. So what that's saying is it's just called the zeros because at the x-intercept, that's when the values are 0. Okay? So now let's go find the x-intercept from a graph. So when finding the x-intercept from a graph, you're looking to see where it crosses the x-axis. So to find the x-intercept, it's going to be on the x-axis. So you're going to go up, there's where it crosses. So that is my x-intercept. Okay? And then for the y-intercept, you're going to go along the y-axis and you're going to see where does it cross the y-axis. Oh, there we go again. So that is my y-intercept. Now, they have to be points. So remember, for the x-intercept, y is always equal to 0. And for the y-intercept, x is always equal to 0. Okay? So the point for the x-intercept, it's on 2, and then y is 0, so it's 2, 0. And the points for the y-intercept, it's on the 3 on the y-axis, and x is 0, so it's 0, 3. Okay? Now let's look at it from a table. If we're given a table, to find the y-intercept, you're looking to see where x is 0. And for the x-intercept, you're looking to see where y is 0 for the x-intercept. Okay? So now, the first question says determine the slope. So in order to determine the slope from a table, remember we're going to do the change in y divided by the change in x. So what did it change by? How did I go from 3 to 2? I subtracted 1. Good job. How did I go from -1 to 0? I added 1. Awesome. So my slope, remember, is change in y, and my y value is -1 divided by change in x, which is a +1. And then we reduce. -1 divided by 1 is -1. So my slope for this table is -1. Now let's fill out the remainder of the table because we have some empty spaces. Over here I kept subtracting 1. To go from 3 to 2, I -1. From 2 to 1, I -1. So down here, if I subtract 1 from -1, I'm going to get -2. If I subtract 1 from -2, I'm going to get -3. Then over here, what did I do? You're right, I did add 1. So if I add 1 to 3, I get 4. And if I add 1 to 4, I get 5. Awesome job. The next says circle the x-intercept. So let's go up here. For the x-intercept, remember y is 0. So we're going to look. Where is y 0? Oh, there it is. So that is my x-intercept. Because y is 0, so it's my x-intercept. Now it says write the coordinates of the x-intercept. Good job. It is 2, 0. Now, the next one says circle the y-intercept. Remember, for the y-intercept, x is 0. So we're going to go along the x. Oh, there it is. And we're going to find where x is 0. So that is our y-intercept. Okay? And it says write the coordinates of the y-intercept. 0, 2. Good job. Okay, now let's go back to our Cornell notes. Okay, and now that you've finished this page, I want you to pause the video, fill out the side, remember with questions that I may ask on a test, an aha moment, bring out that thinking, and then I need you to write a summary. Write 2 to 3 complete sentences over what you learned on this side. So over what you learned on this side, you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences. When you're ready, start the video back up. We're going to go to the back of the Cornell notes. Okay, so now let's look at finding the intercepts from an equation. One form of the linear equation is called the slope-intercept form. Any linear function can be written in this form in order to determine the slope and the y-intercept. So this right here is called my slope-intercept. Okay, it's called my slope-intercept form. Or it can be written as f of x equals mx plus b. So it's y equals mx plus b or f of x equals mx plus b. Now, the m is going to represent the slope of the line. And the b represents the y-intercept. So my m is my slope and my b is my y-intercept. So let's go look at the problem. So if I have 6x minus 3y equals 9, well, we need to find the x and y-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, make y equals 0. So we're going to take this y and we're going to put 0 in place of it. So all I did was take the y and put a 0 there. Now we're just going to solve. Negative 3 times 0 is 0, so this cancels out. And we're left with 6x equals 9. Now, what do I do on both sides? I divide by 6 on both sides. 6's cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 3 divided by 2. Okay, because I have to reduce the 9 divided by 6. Now, to find the y-intercept, I'm going to make x equal 0. So I'm going to take this x and I'm going to put 0 in place of it. 6 times 0 is 0, so it cancels out, and I'm left with negative 3y equals 9. Now to get y by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. That cancels, and I'm left with y equals negative 3. So my x-intercept, remember, it needs to be a point. So y is always 0, so it's so it's 3 divided by 2, 0. And my y-intercept is 0, negative 3. So these are my intercepts. Okay? So for x-intercept, you make y equals 0. For y-intercept, you make x equals 0. And that's if it's in standard form. And this is standard form. And standard form is where x and y are on the same side. Okay, so now let's look at another example. If we have f of x equals 12x minus 24. Well, remember, f of x is the same as y. So we can rewrite it as y equals 12x minus 24. Now, remember this is in y equals mx plus b form. So since it's in that form, this negative 24 is going to be our y-intercept. So if I make it a point, it will be 0, negative 24. So if it's in slope-intercept form, there's no making x 0 to solve for y. Like, you already know what the y-intercept is because b, remember, represents the y-intercept. However, to find the x-intercept, you do have to make y equals 0. So if we make y equals 0, we'll have 0 equals 12x minus 24. Now we're going to solve. So remember, to get x by itself, you move the negative 24 first by adding. So that's going to cancel this out. And you're left with 0 plus 24, which is 24 equals 12x. Now to get x by itself, you have to divide both sides by 12. That cancels, and so 2 equals x. So my x-intercept would be, my x-intercept would be 2, 0. Okay? So in order to find the x-intercept, I still have to make y equals 0, even if it's in slope-intercept form. Now let's look at two special cases. I have y equals negative 10. Well, remember, this line does not contain an x value, so it is a horizontal line. So it's going to be a horizontal line. Also remember that the slope for a horizontal line is always 0. And since there is no x value, the y-intercept is going to just be negative 10. So it's going to be 0, negative 10. And because it doesn't have an x value, there is not an x-intercept. So if you have a horizontal line, there is never, ever, 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 ever going to be an x-intercept. So make sure that you know that. That is very important. And let's look at one more. I have x equals 6. So if we look at this one, the line does not contain a y value, so it is a vertical line. So we have a vertical line for this one because it doesn't contain a y value. Anytime it doesn't contain a y value, it's always vertical. So that means the slope, remember, is undefined. And because it doesn't contain a y value, that means there is no y-intercept. There is not going to be a y-intercept for a vertical line. And then the x-intercept is going to be 6, 0. Because if I was to graph this, it would be x equals 6, and then y would be 0. Okay? So again, let's go back to our Cornell notes. So we filled out these on the PowerPoint. And now I need you to fill out the left-hand side. Again, write questions as if you were the teacher, something you would ask your students, and to write a 2 to 3 complete sentences over what you learned on this side of the notes. Okay, so only on this side. So remember, tomorrow both sides is going to be a grade. So we're going to be looking for the complete sentences, the left side filled out, and that you filled in the middle part. So make sure that you do this. If you have to go back through the video, go back through it. Other than that, have a great night. Adios.